Our dumbasses can do it. We started rolling. Not literally, but figuratively, because not in the sense that you roll, because you drive the bus. But rolling as far as the tape goes. To my right, as always, Bobby Keith Kilgore.
Yep, very excited about this one.
I bet you are. There's some shit talking going on. To my left, Josh Thompson.
Yes.
To Bobby Keith's right, in the big green guest chair.
Size for anybody.
Anyone can sit in that chair.
The throne.
It's the throne. Our bus driver and dear friend, Philip Nino Spicuzza. Welcome.
Yay!
Well, hello, everybody. Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for doing this.
That was me taking a bow.
Yeah.
And you're 55 minutes late, but we won't consider that. I told you 4.
I had to work today.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. Some people have real jobs, Keith. We don't.
You know, where productive shit happens, you know.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go to a dinner tonight, and I'm not getting to go to the Predator game because I have to work.
Yeah, where are we?
Where are we? What?
Oh my goodness.
Hey, where are we? Hey, this
we're in.
this
I'm sorry.
great hotel that we're at.
I'm sorry. I wasn't with you there.
We got to set up the scene. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we just got to do it.
We're in Nashville. Downtown Nashville, Tennessee, right? I mean, just everything.
Outlooking the Hayes Street Hotel.
Yes, and other things as well. But yeah, I've got a dinner tonight, so I'll be working as well. I have a business dinner with.
A business dinner?
Yeah, I'm in the entertainment industry, and I have to entertain. Make some appearances, and
Shake babies and kiss hands.
shit some babies.
Kiss some ass.
Shake babies and kiss hands.
No, but yeah, we rolled into Nashville yesterday morning.
Pretty rough too, man.
It was a rough drive.
What happened on that, man?
Yeah.
Apparently, where I-65 used to be, they dug it up and haven't put it back yet.
Oh.
Here's the thing: Cody never wakes up before noon, and you had him up at 7:45. All that rough driving.
Well, the shit talking starts already, huh?
It's right out of the gate.
He forgets that I know where he sleeps, huh?
Yeah.
We know where you ride.
Yeah, but
who takes care of you at the end of the night and says, "Hey, you need anything? I'm going to bed."
Cody.
Shit.
Or maybe Josh.
Uh-huh.
I
hardly
every night.
ever see you.
Every night. All right. Good night, Nino. Do you need anything? He goes, "No, Cody, I'm fine."
I don't remember that.
It's because you're always asleep.
Let's get some fun stories. Let's start with how you started in this. And I've heard some of these, but people don't get to hear bus driver stories. And bus drivers are the ones that are always sober and remember everything, because the jump seat is kind of like a counselor's chair. And so bus drivers are used to all these drunk musicians at the end of the night coming up there and smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and just yakking away.
Or they might be on the phone and they get to hear the other side of the conversation.
They might be on the phone, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why they call it a counselor's chair. You're the doctor, the marriage counselor, the priest. You hear everything.
So how'd you get into it?
It started with 2 uncles and my dad. They both in the business. Just kind of drug my ass along in there with it. I don't remember exactly how it all started, everything that started, but I've been on them since I was a kid, with my dad and my 2 uncles. So
Your first solo gig was what?
Back in 1940.
I'm not even that old.
You're driving for Ernest Tubb.
No, there's a joke in the industry with a lot of people that tell stories, and it's a small circle, and it was even smaller back then when I was a kid. One of the jokes was that somebody get to telling a story about who they drove for, and then we'd all say, "Well, so and so, they drove Lincoln to the Gettysburg Address or something," just tall stories. But I don't know that you'd call it a solo gig, but I did get to work with Miss Tammy Wynette because my dad and my uncle worked for her, and I guess I was on those buses. Even in my teens, even before I was old enough to drive. And that's just kind of how it started.
Kind of a big one to start with.
Yeah, you and I were talking the other night that some of the ones I got to be around at an early age, I didn't know to appreciate it then.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later in life, it's like, I was around some pretty cool shit then, and didn't even know it, or didn't recognize it for what it was.
Probably has a lot to do with being a kid and soaking it all in.
And being around it your whole life.
And being around it all the time, you know it's cool. It's a neat thing to be around. But and I imagine at that age, at the age I'm at now, I'm still thinking, just keep your shit together. Just these are normal people, this and that. But talk about some of the people you have been around or that you've hauled. You guys say hauled, don't you?
We say hauled or drove for. And now and then too, I'll say this. Some of the gigs that I did, some people say, they drove for anybody. There may be 4 or 5 buses on that artist, and you may have driven one of them. It doesn't necessarily mean you drove that bus that hauled that artist.
You're just on that tour.
On that tour.
Sure. But you've been on some pretty damn cool ones.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not as cool as this, though.
That was one of my questions. Who's your favorite boss?
Without a doubt, and not just because I'm sitting here doing this, it would be Cody.
Damn right.
Well, I mean,
He had to say
in a real
that.
serious in a real serious note. And I get this out there. I've never had any of them show me the respect and the appreciation that this gig does and that Cody does. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Because you were actually about to stop driving, weren't you? When you started with us?
He was going to finish out us and be done.
I was done with it. I wanted out.
Because you're what, 50? How old are you right
49.
now?
I'm 49.
Oh, 49.
He just turned 49
That's right.
last week.
That's right.
I was going in. I was done with it. I was getting tired of people. And I went in the office, and then they were in a spot and asked me. It was between this one and some pop chick, and I wasn't nothing about that. This one was only going to be like 18 days, and the other one was going to be longer. So I was like, fine, I'll do the 18 days. And I started this, and then I apologize to you guys because I probably started this one with a real shitty attitude. Because
we all had
I really didn't want to.
same thing going into it.
I had just been dumped out of a bunk.
Yeah.
Right before Nino
Still
came
got
on.
the scar.
And so got the scar right there. And at that point, we were on the road a lot. And we had been on the road a lot. And Nino pulls up the bus in front of my house one night. And we joke about this still. Still one of my favorite Nino stories. Pulls up in front of the house in the bus. And, everybody had met at my house. So everybody's loading their gear into the belly of the bus and, going and putting their shit in their bunks and all that kind of stuff. And Nino's standing out there and, oh, hell, it's maybe midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, typical leave time type thing. And walk up. I knew him as Philip. I knew we were getting a bus driver named Philip or Phil. Walk up and said something along the lines of, hi, I'm Cody. Do me a favor and don't roll me out of my fucking bunk. And he said, if you roll out your bunk while I'm driving,
No, that's not how he said it.
he said it like this. If you roll out your fucking bunk while I'm driving, it's your own fucking fault.
And immediately,
It was more like that, So that was one of those. I was like, okay, cool, good. We have an understanding here. And I loaded my shit up on the bus, and we were off. And that was
That was what, 3 years ago?
Three
now?
years
it was April of 18, I think.
April
No,
of 18.
I started in 17.
17?
Yeah,
No,
so,
April
yeah,
of 17.
it's been 3 years now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was March, actually.
March of 17.
okay.
Okay, so creeping up on 3.
Yeah. And you haven't been,
This is the fourth
This is
season.
this is the fourth. Okay, fourth season. Okay,
So 3 full years.
Yeah.
Starting year 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is the first season of the podcast.
Oh my goodness, Bobby Keith.
He's as aggravating in this as he is
Oh,
in
my-
anything, isn't he?
No. I just knew this one was going to be fun. No, but he hadn't been thrown out of a bunk since, and we thank you for that.
I haven't.
No.
And I haven't been thrown out of a bunk, but in one of my favorite things, or not favorite things, or funniest things is if we got to haul ass home, he'll tell me to put my Velcro jammies on, which means
We'll do that Saturday.
we'll be rocking and rolling. So I'm gonna try not to slide you out of your bunk here. But being up there in the front of the bus, obviously you've seen a lot of miles go by, and you had a lot of people up in the jump seat and had a lot of conversations and stuff like that. But you knew Vern Gosden, right?
Yeah, I got to do a little short stint with that, but that wasn't driving a bus. That was at a time when I wasn't old enough to
Yeah.
drive a bus, but
You were around him.
I just wanted to be a part of any of it as a kid. I really wanted to do lighting and stuff. So a buddy of mine he worked for a company that used to be in Nashville called Roadworks. So he kind of took me in and put me on this gig. Went and did a couple of weeks with Vern Gosden.
That's awesome, man.
Got to run the spotlight.
No kidding.
That was my job, run the spotlight.
I didn't know that.
How old were you?
I was probably 16.
Oh, that's awesome.
Damn. Yeah, you got into it young, man. You got into it really young.
But back then, things were a little different as far as the way you could drive.
Yeah, because at that time we lived in Hendersonville. And I just, if there was a bus around or anything to do with it, I wanted to be around it. And I knew a lot of the drivers in the buses. Back then, a lot of the artists owned their own buses. There wasn't a lot of the lease bus and stuff around. I mean, it was, but it wasn't in this area. It got me in a lot of trouble, though. Who knew the truancy officers actually went hunting a kid down that wasn't at school, but that did happen. So it was just, I got to know a lot of them, and a lot of them taught me a lot of stuff. I was just that kid hanging around the bus shop.
You just pick it up. You just pick things up. It's like hanging out in a guitar shop.
Exactly. And it's not so much like that anymore. And I don't even live here anymore. So one of the old guys that I still talk to is Jim Webb. He was Loretta Lynn's driver for years and years and years. I still talk to him from time to time. And actually, we stayed connected over the years. Because even after he didn't drive no more, he got to where he'd run an escort vehicle, escorting oversized loads and stuff. And a lot of times when I wasn't doing this, that's what I was doing, was driving a truck and hauling oversized loads. So Jim would be my escort, and still, get all kinds of stories and stuff from even him. That was my childhood, man, jumping in it, and tried to jump out when I started you, but I'm still here.
Oh. Yeah, my ass ain't rolling unless Nino's driving my bus. That's a known fact. I actually quit flying on airplanes for business about 3 or 4 months ago.
We quit at the end of last year, yeah.
So that's 3 or 4 months ago. So
sitting
now
on a plane here in Nashville.
So even if we're playing in Nashville where Nino has to come to pick the bus up, he'll have to come pick the bus up, drive to Texas to pick me up, and then drive me to Nashville because I hate flying that fucking much commercially.
And we appreciate it.
But that's
I appreciate it too. It's more paid days, man.
Yeah, no doubt, right? It's a win-win. I don't have to go through the airport, and Nino's out working. You have so many cool stories. I love the story, and one of these days I'm going to make a song about it, and I'll have to sit down separately and talk to you about it. Tell us about your dad's truck.
Oh, I found the one he had when I was a kid that just stuck in my mind the most. I found my childhood sitting in the weeds about 60 miles from the house and bought it back. Bought it and still building on it.
Yeah, but when you told me the story, it gave me chills. How you had your buddy check the VIN and see where it came from and all that. You bought this truck to restore it because you wanted one like your dad's, and it ended up being your dad's truck.
Well, one of two.
One of two. Yeah. What are the chances of that?
I don't know, man, but it's got me in a lot of trouble because when I found it and I got it, I come obsessed with it. Now, some people do muscle cars and stuff like that. I get in trouble because I'm at a truck shop tinkering with this old truck and bringing it back to life. And working on that thing, man, any day I get to go out there and play with it, that's a day that I don't have to be 49 anymore. I can go back to being that kid. I don't know if many people get to buy back memories that you may have lost or something. But I did. And
buy back memories.
Buy back memories. There you go.
I like that.
We'll put that in the song. You just got a writing credit. There you go.
Yeah, write that one down. Cool. Well, let's go make money with that one. I need to finish the truck.
Yeah, finish the truck. So no, that's awesome. I think that's such a cool story. It's a what are the chances of that?
Like I said, I can't confirm that it was the one, but there was two of them, and it's one of the two of those trucks. So
yeah, that's awesome. I want the listeners to hear about the shootout.
Which one? God, there's
no. Okay, the one where y'all both the two.
I don't want to. I don't.
No names.
No names.
I don't want to put any names.
No names. No names.
This is just. So how long ago was this?
Oh, I'm 49. I was probably 25 at the time.
20.
No, it was man. And the hell of it is they were on the same tour. It was headliner and direct support. But we had a truck stop and they get a riff and they start shooting from bus to bus. Across one another.
Like two ships, like
two ships.
Yeah, like
ships
like
there.
pirates, fighting over territory or whatever.
They just started rolling the windows up and just.
But they didn't roll the windows up.
They shot them out.
They just shot them out.
Golly.
And where were you when all this was going on?
Inside the building, inside the truck stop.
Getting that coffee that he gets every day.
So you come out. Are they still firing, or have they wrapped that up?
We were inside. Somebody starts hollering and stuff, and then they won't let nobody out. And then the law shows up, and
these two
tour buses have bullet holes.
are having a shootout on the field island. So.
Truck drivers must have been going crazy.
Crazy shit.
How many bullet holes were in your rig?
Man, I don't even know. But they both come away with some in them, but I wouldn't have an exact number on them.
So the tour
was pretty
over.
Crazy shit.
The tour was over.
No, we were traveling to the next show.
Played the show the next show?
And they played it?
And, no.
No, okay, I was about to say. Because if a motherfucker's shooting at me one day, I ain't playing a show with him the next.
It was over then, but tour ended then.
Yeah, I figured tour was over after that.
I love the in a lot of these. This is obviously over the last 3 years we've heard lots of Nino stories. So I do have some favorites to stick out. One of my favorites is racing the two buses.
That wasn't me doing it.
No, you weren't doing it, but
That
you
wasn't
had
me
friends
doing
that did it.
Had friends that did it.
Yeah.
Friends.
And
You don't want to get fired.
back then there was a rivalry between drivers, and keep in mind we're going back to the 80s when I was a kid, and my dad and my uncles were the ones driving. But at the time, the Oaks driver Harley had the fastest bus, man. He always had the fastest bus. Him and Hoot had raced, and then Hoot's boy, they also got to racing some buses on a racetrack one time. But I personally didn't get to race one on
a race
it was in a NASCAR track, wasn't it?
at a NASCAR track. Yeah.
Wow.
And they had the bus up on the banks.
Yeah. They were going. They were getting down with the program.
You're talking about, like what, 110, 115?
Oh, I don't know how fast they go on the track that day, but I know that there were several of them out of Nashville that run over 100 miles an hour.
Good
Wow.
Lord. Good
They
gosh.
had mechanical engines in them, and them guys knew how to open the tailgate and
Soup them up a little bit.
tinker with them a little bit.
Oh, don't worry, officer. I just tinkered with her a little bit. You know how fast you're running? I don't know, but just tinkered with the engine.
It only goes 65 on the speedometer.
And, back then, and even when I first started, you seen a bus that didn't have a bunch of windows in it, you knew it was somebody, and a lot of people back then, the paint jobs everybody had murals and stuff like that. So everybody kind of knew who had what bus, So if you got pulled over speeding, a lot of times you could get out of it with an autographed picture or something like that.
Oh.
Not so much anymore today because now there's so many of them, and
Everybody's using them.
Everybody's got them. So yeah, you can't get away with the stuff that you used to get away with back then.
I don't know. I mean, this is a big name right here.
Yeah, but he don't even have any pictures, man.
No headshots.
We're kind of out of the. We're kind of out of the headshot.
Nobody does headshots now.
No.
We should bring that back, man.
No, we should
No,
not. That is an awful idea.
There's sometimes I wish I did have a couple of them that have got
Same
me out
here.
with some stuff.
How vain would it look if you just carried your head? And it was a normal thing and when I first got into this business, headshots were still a thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, they sold them at the merch tables.
Yeah.
I can remember a bunch of times sitting.
Just the black and white, glossy.
Yeah,
it's
sitting on the bus and
You got your name on the
It's
bottom?
got your name on the bottom, your management company, contact phone number, and towards the end of it, actually had a website on it. I've got a stack of old headshots that I took when I was probably 25.
I'm going to get those when we
get
get back
'em.
to the house.
Yeah, get them.
You were saying you sell them at shows. I didn't sell these ones. Nobody wanted to buy them. This was much earlier in my career. But I remember I hated taking headshots, and I always thought it was so presumptuous to carry a headshot around with you. But I love going to there's this restaurant called Edelweiss there in Fort Worth, and we started going there when I was a kid. It was one of those places. It was really, really big in the I'd say late 70s through mid to late 90s. Really happening spot. It was one of those places that people would come and bring their headshots and make it out to the owner. I think his name was Barron. I don't know how I remember that, but nevertheless. And I loved, as a kid, walking around and looking at all the famous people that had come in. And you still see places like that, but it's a lost thing now. I guess people just take pictures with you and just go frame those or something like that anymore.
Yeah, there's a place north of here. Well, it's up in Hendersonville, and it's Center Point Barbecue. And the wall is covered with artists and stuff that have come through there.
Well, it's neat, but I guess it's kind of one of those things. It's like that's the analog era. We're in the digital era now, so
Absolutely.
That's
what it is.
the evolution. But it's almost like having an LP, a vinyl record with the cover and the artwork and stuff like that. That type of era, something physical, tangible, that type of deal.
I've also seen it to where like they'll take a picture on like an app or what, I don't know the app, but they'll say, hey, will you take a picture, and we'll take it, and then they'll have you sign the phone. Remember how you've done that a couple times, like where you sign the actual picture and they print it out?
Yeah.
I don't know the app, but it's weird. Like they get the photo, they save it, and then they have him go over it with his finger.
But it always looks weird because it looks like one of those like digital things you sign with your finger. It never looks like your real signature.
Yeah, but it's crazy how far it's come from headshots or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I got
but those things will get you out of a pinch sometimes.
Let's go ahead and tell for all your teachers, your old teachers out there, tell them You make a lot of money staring out that window, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
I bet when they hear this, they're going to be like, I should have never told them.
I guess I wasn't the good kid in school.
No way.
None of them.
No way.
And it was easier then to skip, too.
Well, not if the cops were coming.
Well, that's just it. I didn't know there was such thing as truant officers. I didn't know he was chasing me for 2 weeks before he caught me either. You end up having to go to court. Wait till your dad gets a summons and says he's got to go to court because his kid's not going to school. Thought I was going to die.
My mom got one.
Oh, that's
of those.
worse than the law, isn't it?
Yeah. And the judge had a reputation of just being a real hard ass. And I can remember being in there, and thank God that my last name starts with a S, so I'm way in the back and I can kind of watch how the first half gets played. But the judge throws this kid that's littler than me, makes him spend the weekend in juvie and shit, and I'm thinking I'm going to the big house, man.
For being truant.
Lock me up for not going to school, man. But I've missed a very excessive amount of days. And it was easy to do. My mother was a nurse and she worked days, so she was gone before I had to go to school. And my dad was on the road, of course. But we had those answering machines. So if they called, I mean, all you had to... I knew how to delete the messages, And
Yep.
Street smart.
nobody knew. Until one night we get a knock on the door and it's serving papers to my parents because I'm not.
You've been running from the cops.
But didn't even know it.
For 2 weeks. You're a good hider.
I'd have just left till a lifelong of pretty much doing what I do for a living.
Running
Running from the cops.
from the cops.
But just in perspective of everybody listening, how many miles do you think?
That I've driven?
I'm going to say at least 2 million, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. And the average bus life
But
is
not
what?
all in a bus. I do buses and trucks.
Yeah.
Can't say that I've had that many in a bus.
What's your favorite bus that you've ever driven?
I had an Eagle one time that was probably one of my favorites. I like the old Eagle.
The old Eagle.
Wish they wasn't old then. It was.
Yeah.
I got one that when they went from having the 2-stroke 8Vs and 6Vs in them to having a Series 60 Detroit in an Eagle, and I just thought that's the way to go. And then the one I got now, I got a pretty slick one now.
Mm-hmm.
He's just saying that because we're in here.
No, I got to agree. Our bus now is pretty badass.
It is. Yes, it is. Except for them air doors, man.
Oh,
Things are slow.
That one going back to my room, it takes a minute. At least it works now, though.
Yeah.
I'm not getting locked in
I'm
it.
surprised it's still hanging up there.
I am too, honestly.
That thing's seen some better days. I know that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever talked about the time I had to
I've got a story.
piss
That
in
he
my...
got.
Yeah.
Tell
You
that
got
one.
locked in it.
Yeah.
He comes out with his lock box.
Yeah. Yeah, this was last year sometime.
You got an air door to your bedroom and then to your bathroom.
An
from
air
your
door
bedroom.
to my bedroom. So there's the first air door that when you walk in through, and it's like Star Trek stuff. When you walk in, you hit the button, the door slides open, and
It even has that,
it has the
because
it's an air compressor. It's an air compressor running it. So you open that door, you get into the main galleyway. There's another air door that leads you to the bunk area, and then there's another air door that leads you from the bunk area to my room, and then there's another air door button that leads you from my room to the bathroom.
He said it 3 times and then he got stuck on the 4th one. What do I call this?
I started thinking about how many air doors do we have in there? It's like 4. We have 4 air doors in there. So I actually, I don't ride with the air doors open. They're both closed, even the one to my bathroom, which is in the very, very rear of the bus. And I wake up one morning and it's maybe like 7 o'clock in the morning and I have to pee super bad. And I wake up and I go and hit the bathroom air door and it won't open. And then I go and hit the air door to go back to the galleyway to get out front to go to the restroom up front. And it doesn't work either.
The compressor had gone out.
Compressor was gone. So it's 7 o'clock in the morning and nobody's awake. And there's release switches too. There's emergency release switches.
Yeah,
There's 2 of them. And neither one of them on that bus worked at the time. I don't know if they work now, but
it takes just a minute. But when you gotta go, you gotta go.
So
I don't think those releases have ever
I don't
worked.
think they never worked with me.
They work. It just takes a
You
while.
have to let that air. They work. I promise.
Well, nevertheless, I'm starting to panic because I can't. I'm stuck in my room and I'm starting to look at the emergency hatch above my bed. Like I'm going to have
It's early.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to crawl out on the top of my bus and take a piss. We weren't moving, so it would have been okay, but I knew what time it was, so it's like, fuck, dude, if I crawl out on top of the bus and take a piss, somebody's going to call the cops for somebody taking a piss on top of
pissing off the top of a bus.
top of a bus. So I'm panicking. And at this point, we hadn't been out on the road very long. I normally have a plethora of water bottles, right? I drink beer all night, and then I drink water before I go to bed when I get up and all that, and keep one by the bed. And I drink a lot of water back there. So there's normally water bottles strewn about. There weren't any, and there was nothing for me to pee in. And I'm really getting nervous here, and it's carpet. I might have just pissed in the floor and wiped it up with some...
Except for
with like
the only room in the whole house.
If it had been like...
Yeah,
it's the only place... So if it would have been like tile back there, I might have thrown a couple T-shirts in the corner and just pissed on them. But... I couldn't do that because I got carpet back there. So I'm opening drawers and I'm like, okay, maybe I can pee in this drawer. And then I see my lock box. And it's just one of those little commercial lock boxes. You can put whatever in it, papers or whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Open that thing up, pull everything in it out. Like even the foam padding at the bottom of it. And it's just, now I just have a hard shell case. And I filled that thing up and locked it back up. And by this time, it's probably like 7:10, so I've got a while to go. So I just carefully set it on my counter and woke up about 11:30. And by then, the switches were back on, and I was able to go dump my lockbox out.
But not before I ran into him, and he's carrying this box. And I just kind of look at him without me saying a word. And he just looks up and he goes, he's holding the box. He goes, I had to pee.
Yeah.
In the lockbox?
Yeah. It was safe. The pee was safe.
And I think I asked him, did you pull the foam out of it before you
I did. I pulled the foam out. And, same lockbox I still have now. Cleaned it out, wiped it out. You know, it's all good to go. But whenever I had all the guys on here, we talked about the story about that Burger King parking lot and that time that being closed down whenever I had an emergency.
Oh, yeah. When
Yeah. Had to waddle to and forth and...
penguin walk across the parking lot.
Yeah, well, yeah.
To get over there and
To the
find
Burger
out
King
it's
to find
closed
out it's
for
closed.
remodeling.
Yeah, it was closed for remodeling. So, yeah, because Paul asked about that last time Paul was on the show. So, yeah, those are, and everybody thinks it's, you know, and it is fun. It is fun being on a tour bus and traveling up and down the road and doing that, but it's not as glamorous as everybody thinks it is. It's definitely not.
No, and it's...
Ain't got no TV.
You know, we've all brought family out to, and for me it was like, I really wanted them to see, not out here doing what everybody thinks we're doing.
You're partying. They think you're partying, going.
And
crazy.
I laugh anytime we're at a show or something like that. We're all in the green room.
Everybody's on the phone.
Everybody's on their phone, but you know, people that don't do this think that they've seen way too many MTV videos of Motley Crue back in the day. You know,
Partying.
Exactly. But we go to our green room and it's
almost everybody's married.
absolutely.
I think that helps.
Our green room sounds more like a library than a... Yeah. And it's like that pretty much on the buses as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's cordial and stuff like that, but we live together for so much of the year.
We don't have anything
You don't
to
really
say.
wake up and say, hey, you know, you might be like, morning, you know, that type of deal, but it's not like, so how's your day gone? Or what do you have planned for your afternoon?
And what'd you do yesterday?
What'd you do? Yes. It's like, motherfucker, I live with you. What the fuck do you think I'm going to do?
We all spend more time together than we do with our spouses.
Easily. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, because it's more, because, you know, if you're gone for half the year, you're living in a very, those buses are big, but, you know, they
get smaller as the weeks go by.
They get smaller with the more guys and the longer you're out there. And before we went to 2 buses, you know, we were rolling around with 12 dudes, and that bus gets smaller real quick.
And it stunk after one day.
Because you got 12 freaking dudes in a cracker box.
But it's amazing how...
Well, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but now we got 2 buses that stink when y'all go to bed.
They still stink.
Yeah.
Not from my room. Not me.
In that bunk area.
All the dirty clothes are back there in your closet smelling up.
No, see what happens is all my dirty clothes, because you know how like when you roll down the front windows in the bus, it sucks air all the way from the back of the bus. So y'all get my stink, and then that collects with y'all stink going on through the front of the bus.
Is your favorite co-driver Rowdy Rhonda?
She's a good driver. I'm not.
She's listening, so I hope you say yes.
No, and if I had to drive with if I had to have somebody else on the bus, I don't ride it very well.
Yeah, you like it to be still when you're sleeping.
Yeah, I can sleep.
You say you don't sleep
I can sleep like a baby if it's parked. But
when it's moving. You don't sleep good.
yeah, I don't see how y'all do it. But
Well,
and I don't think I think most bus drivers are that way. I don't think any of us ride real well because
You used to drive.
you know the bus, you feel it in your feet, you feel it in your ass. So if it makes a weird noise or changes tone or something, or you're laying in your bunk and it made a right and you know it should have went left, it'll wake you up. I mean, I don't sleep solid on it anyway.
Tell a story about whenever you woke up when the bus was.
Oh, God. Just gonna call him Jim.
Yeah, there you go. No name.
Okay, Jim.
He was a band member, but he had his license and he knew how to drive the bus. But he was crazy as the day was long. And a lot of times at night, he'd like to drive first. But he would tell you, hey, man, if you got something you're going to do or if you're going to stay up, go ahead because I'm going to drive first tonight. Because he'd like to unwind. And
that was his compression.
Yeah, that was his come
decompress.
down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Compression, that was his compression.
That was his compression.
And and I should have known better because, I mean, we hung out together a lot. So, I mean, he was pretty crazy anyway. So I'm laying in, and at that time I had a bottom bunk. So I laid in the bunk, but I could hear the motor rev up and then die down. The bus didn't have cruise control. And the speedometer had broke too. And that's another story. He had made him a sheet of paper. He would count the seconds between the mileposts to tell him how fast he was going.
I've done that before.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, I hear it wakes me up because I hear the engine racing up and then dying back down. And I roll out of the bunk to go see what's happening. About the time I get 3/4 of the way stood up, we collide.
This is the driver?
This is the driver. We're in the bunk
Coming down
area.
the bunk area.
Coming down the bunk area. And what he was doing, he would get the bus going up to speed, and he was letting go of the wheel and counting how many seconds was before it started veering off the road. So he figured the faster he could get, the longer the bus would stay in the road. And what he was doing is he was on his way to touch the back wall in the rear lounge. He had already made it to touch the
bunk door.
Front bunk door, in the front lounge. And he'd done made it to touch the back bunk. And this time he was headed to
60 feet.
He was headed to the back and
Just to see if he could do it?
just to see if he could do it. He got bored. He got bored.
What was the look on his face when y'all met?
It was an oh shit moment. He liked to kill me. It was like throwing a cat in water, And I just woke up, so I was a little, dazed and confused, to say the least. But so we never let him drive again after that.
We were talking about it. Your favorite thing is snakes.
Oh, hell no. Who told you that?
Cody, he said we're about to get
I said
we're about to get a mascot.
We're going to get a snake and get it and put it in one of the bunks and just glass it in. That'll be like a snake.
No, we're not.
We're naming it Nino. We're named it Nino.
I don't care.
So you hate snakes.
Nino hates snakes worse than anybody I've ever met.
Yeah.
They make me hurt myself.
Well, no, they
other
make you
people.
hurt your
Or
friend.
other people.
They make you hurt your friend. Tell the story about
there's been
when you hurt
bodily
your friend.
injuries for that. The one I don't want to tell, but this one I can, is
You can tell the other one too.
my buddy was coming. He had caught one, and he was coming to me. Look, I caught a snake. I told him, don't get near me with it. And I was up on my trailer, and I had a flat edge shovel. I was pulling a low boy trailer, and I was scraping the deck. I unloaded a piece of equipment, cleaned it up, and he keeps coming at me. But I told him, man, you get any closer, I'm gonna hit you with a shovel. And he done had me backed up on the neck of this trailer, And he kept coming. I swung. And I hit him, but I knocked him out. But when I knocked him out, he dropped the damn snake.
On the trailer.
On the trailer, and it slithered on down in the trailer. Another one of our buddies comes out of the shop, and he sees him. He's out cold laying on this deck of this trailer, and what happened to him? And I said, never mind what happened to him. He dropped that damn snake in my trailer. Get it.
Because I can't move until you get that thing.
No, I don't.
You had a shovel, too. You could have killed it.
That thought never entered my mind.
Yeah.
Maybe that says a lot about me because the thought of knocking his ass out if he got near me with it did enter my mind. But if I know they're there, I know to stay away from them. And I've been, Cody's got a room, with reptiles and shit. And I've been in it.
But it's when they're free and loose.
But yeah, it's when they surprise me. And my daughter would tell you that I threw her on a snake one time. I didn't intentionally throw my daughter on a snake. We were walking into one of our buddies' shops, and she was in front of me. I pushed off of her. I didn't throw her. I didn't throw her on the snake. It slithered through the door as we was going through the door, and I seen it. And it was kind of those, oh, shit, I had to push off of something, and she was there.
Wow.
So I didn't.
You will sacrifice anyone for
get out of a snake.
to get away from a snake.
I'm not going to say that. But
That's what he means.
there's
Your own daughter.
in my mind, all is fair when trying to get away from a snake.
It was a push off.
I love it.
It wasn't. She was not thrown
It
onto
was
the
not
snake.
pass interference. It was just a push off.
It was a push off.
So
Oh, my goodness.
every guy in this room has been spanked by you as well, right?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
I don't piss them off.
I guess it's just
Don't
us.
don't say spank. That sounds a little weird, man.
That's what
Oh
it
no,
is.
but that's what you do. You bend them over your knee
It's
and
more
you
of a
whoop their ass.
more of a whooping.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Whoop.
more of
More of
an
a
ass
whooping
whooping.
than spanking. It's because it's because of Bobby Keith.
No,
it's why
you too.
I'm gonna tell this story, and I'm gonna explain to the people why you got your ass whipped. In the roof of the bus, there's this air duct that runs down the center. That
This might have been the first.
this is the first ass
This is
whipping.
the
that
first
came
ass
down.
whooping.
And I walk in the bus, and he looks at me and goes, "Look, look what I could do." And he's hanging from the damn ceiling in the bus. Of course, I have a shit fit and go after him, and he tries to run from me, and he can't get out the bus quick enough. So I just kind of had him up there by the jump seat and whipped his ass over the jump seat.
Yep.
And then Cody here come in the bus one night, and I just say, I mean, I'm the one that has to clean that mess up.
I may have been drinking.
And and I may have just woke up and just got back to the bus. He looks at me, and I think it was a
It was a pretzel.
pretzel
Pretzel stick.
laying on the floor. And he looks at me like, "Look at that! Look at that!"
And we got
while
hardwood
I'm looking
floors.
at him, he walks over there and smashes it with his boot in the floor.
Guess who got a spanking?
I just grabbed a hold of him and whooped his ass real quick.
You know what?
I don't think there's any other artists that say they got a whooping from the butt.
Well, you know what is his son's favorite thing to do is, right?
What's that?
He likes to throw trash.
Oh, this is why you get your ass whipped.
Yeah, but
And you
that's-
taught my son this trick too.
Hey,
But all Larson's going to do is get Bobby Keith's ass.
That's it, because you showed to. So it's not Larson's fault; it's your fault. My son's just recently gotten big enough, to start going on the road with us for a couple days at a time. And typically, people don't realize when we roll. Most bands overnight it. You leave at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, roll all night, get to where you're going the next morning. The drivers will do some maintenance or do whatever, or get a Uber back to the hotel or whatever. But the start of a driver's day is they get there and they get the buses cranked up. By then, the band and crews had time to have a few beers or whatever it is that they want to be doing.
Some of them are plumb shit faced by that time.
Some of us, not us, I'm not including myself,
Oh no.
but some of us were just shit faced by then. So usually our first stop is maybe 30, 45 an hour, maybe after we leave. And that's whenever our drivers will fill up on fuel, water levels for the bus, fluids, and, just do a check. We're about to haul. So that's time to dump the trash. And most tour buses have like a little kick plate underneath, a trash chute. And then it goes down in the belly of a bus, which there's a big 55-gallon or however big Rubbermaid trash can in there. It has a big trash bag in it, so just everything goes in that. And you just kick it with your foot when you're up by the sink and throw your trash down. Well, Bobby Keith likes to wait until he hears that bay door open and wait until Nino's getting that trash out and starts throwing shit down the trash chute.
I've hit him in the head a couple times with a water
I've
bottle.
threatened to put the trash in his bunk too. I haven't done it yet, but I
don't do that
save
no
all my paybacks.
Oh, that's smart.
We got him back the other day pretty good, though.
Which one?
You.
We got you in Hot Rod.
Oh man, yeah, you did.
We got him
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Oh no, everyone was in on it.
Everybody was in on it.
Yeah,
It was
don't
good.
worry,
Because
it's
they
from me
gang up
too.
on everybody all the time, so it was like we found an opportunity to
They cashed in on it.
bust
too.
their ass
Pretty
the other
good.
day.
I remember when we were first talking about going to two buses, and we told Bobby Keith that
Oh,
we had
man.
to, and when Gary
I
showed
showed
up
up
with the other bus, we told Bobby Keith and Hot Rod that it was
Split.
two buses and splitting them up. Oh, Bobby
One his
Keith
crew,
threatened-
one his band, and Bobby,
Bobby
had
Keith
be
threatened
on
to
the
quit.
crew bus.
I
He
showed
was
up-
gonna quit.
Dude, I showed up with no bag, no clothes, nothing. I was ready to be done.
he was going to be gone. He was going to be done, And we had like 2 days worth of rehearsal.
Yeah.
And then he didn't even bring. He had to like buy clothes.
Yep.
Because he was throwing such a fit.
But this is kind of the sweetest thing now, sometimes during the night, or if we get somewhere early and I may go to my bunk, you'll see Bobby Keith's little hand hanging out of his bunk, and Hot Rod's hanging out there holding hands.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that is so sweet.
It is sweet. It's cute.
That is darling.
It's like two old people laying in hospital beds next to each other, you know.
Just waiting to die. Oh man! Dang, I had another question.
I guess if we had a bus with the hallway down one wall, we could put a double wide bunk in there for them. They wouldn't have to just hold hands no more. They could spoon.
We can switch bunks, Josh, me and you, and I can just reach across the aisle.
No, I'm fine where I'm at.
What about the story whenever you were headed home from Houston? You went through that border checkpoint or whatever it was.
I don't know that we want to tell that story.
Oh, you can tell it.
Okay, well, I will say there wasn't nobody from our bus. We had a visitor come to our bus and left a bag of individually wrapped brownies from, the ones they make in Colorado. Some of these port of entries have these machines that they're kind of like, not like X-raying, but like weed gives off a heat signature, so they can kind of see. And money does too, if y'all didn't know that. I mean, they can.
So they can tell, hey, anytime you go through a check stop, they can know how much money and dope you have on you.
And a lot of other guys, there's a bad one is out in Sierra Blanca, Texas, where you got to go through that one. It's taking your pictures, it's X-raying buses and stuff. And I've been chained to that bench a couple of times too because nobody wanted to believe me and get rid of their weed off the bus. But
they're notorious out there. I mean, let's see, they got Fiona Apple, they got Snoop out there, they got Willie out there.
Willie several times.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just the sheriff out there, man. He gets off on...
Well, they've got my ass twice, and I was just driving.
Jeez. Chained to the bench.
Yeah, there's a bench inside the building, and don't go to ask to pee because the only way to pee is in the jail cell, and they will lock your ass in there if you got to go pee.
So you just stay in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the brownies, this happens to be somebody that I know, but it gives me the arrow to come in. He's like, you got something in that bus you need to get rid of. I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, yes, you do. And he showed me on the screen, and it was showing about midways of the bus, which would have been in the back of the front lounge. And somebody had stuck them up there where we keep our coffee and our coffee cups and stuff. It was a gallon Ziploc bag.
Full of weed brownies.
Full of weed brownies. And he goes, those are already individually wrapped and labeled. He said, that's like 37 counts. And then
You had no idea that.
I didn't even know they were in there.
Nobody did.
Nobody did. So
Because
whoever brought them on the
somebody
bus.
just brought them on the bus, and somebody was probably cleaning up and was like, oh, brownies. Put them in the cabinet.
Yep.
We had no idea.
I know who it was, but I'm not going to name
I'm not going to
names,
name a name, but I know exactly who it was.
So, hey, the next time you want to bring the band weed, just
Let us know.
bring weed.
Yeah.
Don't bring disguised weed.
Bring 37 brownies.
Oh man.
But no, whenever we roll, and we never roll with a lot of weed, but whenever we roll, it's and we're all off the bus, we try to make sure there's nothing on there.
Because if there's no one on, it's on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like being on it by myself if there's...
No, we do.
We've only
we do
done
a
that to
pretty
you,
good
like-
job.
Yeah, it gets cleaned out.
It gets cleaned out.
We've only done that to him like 4 times, but
No, that's the only time it's ever happened, and it wasn't even none of you guys. It was
it was the other guy.
It was a house guest that
Yeah.
left their luggage behind.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Well, what sucks is all that good weed got thrown away.
Yeah, right in a trash can.
Yeah, man.
Could have at least divvied it up a little bit.
So about a year ago, you got you a new running buddy though on the road out here.
I did. We went to 2 buses, and old Rodney,
Uncle Rodney.
Funkle.
yeah.
Funkle.
Funkle,
Yeah.
Uncle Rodney, my partner in crime,
Y'all talk a lot throughout
all
the
the
night?
time. Oh yeah,
That's who you're usually talking to, huh?
yeah.
Why don't y'all just
That's
talk
such
on
a
the-
weird. That's such a weird just existence of. I guess maybe that's why the community, the bus driver community, is as tight as it is because you were the only guys that are kind of rolling, and that's the time of your day is 4 o'clock in the morning. Those are the only guys you can really talk to.
Yeah, other bus drivers. None of my, like even where I live, I have like a couple buddies at the house. I don't have a lot of friends right there where I live. Like nobody that I hang out with. If I'm at home, if I'm not hanging out with my wife, like if she's at work and I'm at home, I'll go to my buddy's shop, and play with the truck. But all of my close friends do what I do, so you're all talking to one another, and we're all up at the same time.
Yeah.
So And then when I get home, I don't talk to any of them. It's weird. It's kind of like y'all do. If we've been out for a long time.
Hell yeah, we don't talk to each other.
No, when you get off it's funny. It's like if we've been off the road for a long time, everybody's all huggy and lovey and laughy and stuff. Give it about 3 weeks in, and it's like
You're not talking to anybody.
no, you're like. And then when you end a tour and pull the brake, everybody jumps off.
We can't
the
get
bus
off that
and
Can't
dozer
get off that
fast
thing
enough.
fast enough.
it goes their separate ways.
It's like
and-
cockroaches scattering when the light comes
yeah, when
on.
you turn the light on. And then, but if we're off for a month, everybody's chomping at the bits. And I think it's because I don't think our families know how to take us when we've been home for a long time.
No.
And we can only hold normalcy together for a couple of days and we start coming unwound.
It's true. It's true.
Yep.
Like, because for me, it's 2 to 3 weeks. In a perfect world, I'd go out 3, be home 2. Go out 3, be home 2. Our business just doesn't work that way. You know.
You're good for about 3 weeks. At the end of that third week, you either got to go home
Yeah. Or
Beck's got to come out.
somebody.
Yeah.
I need somebody to fly out and conjugally visit me, and sometimes because it's better for everybody when my wife's around.
Oh, I love it when she's around.
Yep.
Y'all all behave way better when she's around.
The bus smells better.
Yes, it does.
The bus does smell better, yeah. But she can't sleep on the bus. It's that
Vibration
That-
and moving.
and I think she feels so out of control because if you make your living going down the road at night, you're on a fucking bus. You're on a moving thing while you're asleep. You know, with somebody that has 7 lives in their hands. I think it's the lack of being in control that messes with her, and I think she'll start to doze and then hit the
that
off
rumble
ramp,
strip.
or and then you kind of go like that. You kind of
But she hasn't been on it enough to get her the bus.
There's definitely
legs.
sea legs that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
to
agree.
being on the bus. There absolutely are.
But then I've been on them for years, and I have a time sleeping on them moving. If
But
they're
that's
parked,
because you're a driver, though.
that's what I was telling Bobby Keith
Yeah.
earlier. Just you feel it, and if it makes a weird noise or something like that, you're like, "What was that?" If the tone of the
Well, that's your instrument. You know, the bus is. I mean, you know what those things are supposed to sound like.
And I can tell now, and after you've been on, because each bus has their own hum, their own rhythm, their own. I mean, they're people don't understand. They're living, breathing machines. You have to take care of them almost on a daily basis, if not daily, every other.
oh, it
day.
is daily.
There's a lot that goes into them. It really is the equivalent of a pilot going to check his plane or a captain going to check his vessel. You know, when you get there, there's so much.
How many steps? What kind of checklist do you do, like 15, 20 steps before you get rolling?
No, it's more like 60 to 70.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
And the first thing, I mean, you check the locks on the trailer, all the way to checking the locks on the trailers to make sure everything's
I'll
locked.
walk around it 3 times before I ever get on it, at least. And then I'll do it when I park it. I'll do it before I move it again. I mean, it's just. Even though it hadn't gone anywhere, you still open up the hatches and take a look. I have, I guess, 5 of y'all in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, to y'all, there's 5 of you. To me, it's every one of you's got parents, wives, kids, people that love you, people that care about you. I have all of those people on that bus because if I let something happen to you, I've got to answer to all those people.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
Oh,
So I do every night.
my mama talks to you. Yeah. Mama Jinks will take care of my son, Nino. Yes, ma'am. But, let's talk about the bus, and let's talk about how that motherfucker don't move until I'm on it. I don't care if it's 5 feet, 50 yards, or 500 yards. That motherfucker don't move unless I'm on it.
Yeah. And what was it? You can't talk to me like that.
Yeah. We were in...
We were in
Ventura, California.
Ventura, California.
Ventura, yeah.
And we were literally...
You and I were having a beer at the hotel lobby bar.
We were supposed to meet at 12:30 from the hotel. I remember this because this was so funny.
I think we were 0.2 miles away from the venue.
It was. You could see the venue from the hotel.
Oh, we
parking
weren't
lot.
far at all. And so the bus was leaving to go to the venue at 12:30 that afternoon. Josh and I were sitting at the hotel bar.
And the tour manager was brand new.
Yeah, and Logan Hacker, at the time he had just been our monitor man, our side stage in-ear monitor engineer, and he had just got promoted doing double duty to running monitors and tour manager. And so
5-star
he's
left.
green as shit on the tour manager end of it. Well, they pulled the bus out about 5 minutes early. They left about 12:25, and me and Josh.
I got told we were a bus.
Yeah.
So I rolled.
Yeah, when the tour manager says we're a bus, you roll, you know? And so me and Josh and Drew, our piano player, we all go out about 12:30 and we're looking for the bus. And at this point, I don't know how far the club is. I didn't realize we were like 0.3 miles from the club. I'm looking around, I'm like, my fucking bus. You know? And
the valet guy's like, oh, they just left a couple minutes ago. Yeah. You mean that real big thing?
he's like, that real,
yeah, dude.
the big tour bus? Yeah, that big tour bus. Oh, yeah, they left a couple minutes ago. We're like, oh, shit. So then we figure out that we're not that far, but, you know, we do joke around with each other. And so I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to fuck with my new tour manager. I let Nino in on the joke.
I was supposed to be primed and loaded for bear for the comeback, you know. But
So Nino's in on it, but Logan's not. And I said, look, I'm going to give y'all an ass chewing about me. You know, it's like the bus doesn't roll until I'm on the bus. I pay for the motherfucker. I pay for the fuel. You know, this is how it goes. So I called Nino in and Hacker in, and Hack's sitting on the couch. Hack already looks like a little boy been scolded. And
His head was down and everything.
Oh.
yeah, he was.
He was
Before you even started.
He was sitting on the couch with his head down. So there's the main gallery where the couch and the kitchen area is, and then there's a door, a sliding door, and then there's the cockpit area, the front area. Well, Nino's standing in the front area, almost by the windshield to where I can see him, and the guys that are in the back of the bus that have inconspicuously left the door open because they want to see this, me, Josh being one of them. So Logan can't see anybody but me, but they can all see him. And I go into the, hey guys, directed at both Nino and Logan. I say, hey, let me ask y'all a question. What time was what we set to leave today? 12:30.
But it was in a little meaner tone. He was.
It was
yeah.
no,
you were chewing some ass.
I'm not gonna. It was loud and in charge. But they're like 12:30. I said, and what time did you leave? 12:25. And then I launched into the, I don't give a fuck. You know, if I'm not on this son of a bitch, I don't care if it's rolling 5 feet. I better be on the motherfucker. I pay for the fuel. You know, just going, just railing on him, man. Just playing it. And Hack's just sitting there probably thinking he's going to be on a Greyhound going home. And Nino just pokes his head back through the door and goes, say, man, you can't talk to me like that.
Everybody started laughing.
I was already laughing.
Nino was up there laughing. And
I can't get it together. I can't get my game face together, you know. Like,
That was the end of the joke.
all of my scripted work. I would
all that work you did
I
in
would
your
suck.
head, you just,
I
you
would
just
suck
lost.
as an actor, man, because I just totally
he's
forgot
sitting
my
up
whole
there.
script.
He's sitting up there just trying not to laugh, and I'm trying to keep it together to try to keep this going because Hack's just on the ropes, man. You know, and then just say, man, you can't talk to me like that. And then I started laughing, and then Hack looks up with this incredibly relieved look on his face, like, you
His face was
motherfucker.
like, you fuckers. Man.
But we got to do it again. The next time, I promise I'll have my shit together. And
Well, hey,
He's going to be onto it the next time.
No, he won't. He forgot. Any plans for the evening?
no,
You got a long drive tomorrow night.
no. Actually, my kids are probably in town now. They had to come up because they got to go to a funeral on their other side of the family. One of their relatives died, so they're in town. Probably gonna go to dinner with them. And my old buddy Rodney.
Oh, yeah. Man, he hangs on that coattail of yours. Be careful.
Oh,
Don't get
man,
another one on
Rodney's
there.
my friend, man.
I know, man. I'm just kidding.
It's like the
little puppy dog.
We don't
won't go
hold
away.
hands though, like you and Hot Rod.
You know.
This is true.
We're friends. We're not. We don't have a love relationship. We have a friendship.
They're friends. They're not hetero life
life
partners
mates.
like you and Hot Rod are.
Well, at least I got a friend.
well.
A good one.
We missed old Hot Rod, yeah. Hot Rod's.
You have one. We know that.
Yes.
No, I think you know everybody, man. Everywhere we go.
Well, I mean, when you got on with us, how much cool shit have you got to do? I
mean,
we
you
took
know.
you to the Daytona 500.
No, I took
mean, you
you.
took us, but you parked that bus in there like you own the place.
Yeah, but you know what? We missed it this year,
I know we're up
and
here
I want to
doing
know
a-
why in the hell we were up in the frozen tundra instead of being in Florida.
Because the
at
last two
Daytona.
Februarys we got to be in Florida.
We're supposed to do that every February.
You said every year.
I wanted to, but
well, what changed, man? What changed your mind? You
don't
wanted to
know.
go play in the snow for a bit?
sometimes I wonder.
Go up here in negative
sometimes I
5.
wonder who's working for who. No, because I was due for a winter run up in the cold part.
No, we were, man.
we had the last 2 Februaries in Florida, which was nice. But you know, I mean, Minnesota in February is absolutely
gorgeous.
Gorgeous. It's one of the.
Yo,
I hope they're joking.
Yeah. You don't want to know what I'm thinking. You'd have to censor this shit.
We
what
haven't
I'm
had.
thinking.
You haven't been able to get water.
Yeah, we've been froze up.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why, like
problems.
in February, we don't need to be up where they shut the water off.
Don't get me
in the
wrong. We love
wintertime.
Minnesota and all that, but man, let's go in the
We like
summer.
Minnesota, and I like going to Minneapolis.
Why can't we go to the summertime, like up
Oh, yeah.
north, and then the south? We'll do the winter because
Because we were due. It was time. It was kind
No,
of time to
you're right.
go play.
It was.
Play
But if we'd have
Minneapolis
went
show
to
in February.
Minneapolis, it'd have been a lot cooler if we'd have went back to First Ave, where we could have parked inside the building and got water.
Yeah, but we weren't able to get water for 9 or 10 days because everybody was froze up or they had their water pump shut down.
yeah.
And just
But
so everybody knows what essential water is, because Cody here has a shower in his room, and he's got to have his shower in his room every day.
Oh yeah,
I
let's
don't
talk.
have to have a shower every day.
No, all of y'all should have a shower every day.
I get one
I want
every.
to put that in there.
I get one every fourth day.
That's ridiculous. Everywhere we play has showers.
And that's why the bunk area stinks when everybody goes to bed.
No, but you know, like for anybody that doesn't know, you know, hadn't been back there or whatever. I don't think there's been, but maybe a handful of people maybe back there. But Cody's bedroom, bathroom will make any one bedroom, one bath apartment.
Oh,
jealous.
he's got the digs back there.
It's
Yeah, he
badass.
does.
I'm not gonna lie, it's badass.
He doesn't have
Speakers in his shower.
He don't have to leave.
I've been on a lot of buses for a lot of years, and I've never seen one like that in the back. So.
He don't have to leave that bus.
I don't ever have to leave that bus. But man, it's nice though because I don't leave my room, my quarters. I don't leave my quarters until usually about 2:00.
I was telling somebody that exact story just today. It's like he might get up at 9:00 in the morning, but he ain't coming out until 2:00 in the afternoon.
Because and I may wake up at 11 or 12, or I may wake up at 2. But you know I can get away from everybody in there and hang out. It is really nice. It's like got a damn near queen size bed, TV, entertainment system. I can't turn any of that shit on.
Been on the same channel
I've
for
showed
a year.
him 3 or 4 times, and he doesn't pay attention.
I never watch TV. I don't never watch TV back there. And then I've got a separate bathroom with a walk-in shower.
With a TV in the bathroom.
It's got a TV in a bathroom. Now I just sound like an asshole. Yeah.
Well, no, you're just trying. You know, like people don't get to see that. I'm sure they want to hear that.
Oh yeah, we'll take it.
But keep in mind, before we had this one, he had to spend a lot of years in the bottom bunk with 12 other dudes.
Shit, I've still spent most of my years in a van or an RV.
Dolly, God rest her soul.
You know the cool thing about Dolly
She's still
was
with us.
Oh yeah,
she's in spirit.
In spirit.
man, I'll never forget the smell on that thing.
It smelled like BO and weed.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Dolly was we had the Blackwater tank fell out on us in between Kansas City
and Omaha.
And we had to get a big rig wrecker to come out with a boom to stab it back underneath so the guy could ratchet strap it, right?
You dropped your shit tank in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Oh, it exploded.
I was
full.
I was driving, man. I'll never forget. We hit a thing, and I heard. I was like, "Oh, what's that? That's weird." And then I kept hearing it, and pulled into the hotel that night, and we went and stayed the night in that hotel. Your wife was out for those shows. Acoustic with Sturgill.
We were playing with Sturgill.
And
so the cool thing
next morning
about it was that the record driver was awesome. And I remember him up there ratchet strapping that Blackwater tank back up. He just got little pea drops hitting him on the forehead. You know, he's up underneath that thing. It was
his hair was yellow by the time it was over.
Oh my god!
It wasn't yellow, but it was wet. So I tipped him real good because he had a whole bunch of our piss on his head and hands when by the time he was done with that job. But it left a crack in the Blackwater tank, and we never had to dump it after that, Nino.
Nope.
We just
peed on the road, left our track.
Like it would.
There was a hole in the floor. You just went out.
It was basically just a hole in the floor we peed in, and we never got caught.
Except when we would be parked somewhere for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
And then it would start to.
I bet
feel
they got right out of the parking lot.
Hey, boys, let's move this up 20 feet or something.
Well, because
We always try to park.
I don't
by
believe
one
I'd have told that story.
there's just 5 guys just pissing in a parking lot, basically in the same spot.
We try to like park by one of those grates, you know, or a curb where it just run in there.
Yeah, parking by curb was usually good because I just run. It
drained properly.
So it took us a lot of steps for me to have my own bedroom and bathroom, and you know, I've pissed in my fair share of Gatorade bottles. That's why you buy Gatorade when you're on the road. They got that wide mouth
one
bottle.
lock box.
Now we got that body armor. Though.
Well, and the lock box too.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
Body armor.
Yeah.
The body armor, they get big old wide
Big
mouths.
bottles.
Yeah.
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 People don't know he's talking about how they have the big wide mouth. He's holding his hands up like 3 inches wide. That's not how big the bottle is.
No,
Well,
no, it's not.
I need
just a
those-
normal Coke
I
size.
need those extra wide
my
mouths.
goodness.
Oh man.
It just, I mean, it ain't going in. It's. I need something the size of maybe like
You're like a Route 44 fountain drink.
I need like a big gulp cup.
Yeah, there you go. 7-Eleven.
I'm
Big
glad
gulp.
I got my old boots on it
Comes the
because the
bullshit.
shit
Shaped
got
like a
deep.
can of tuna.
It's shaped like a
Hung
tuna can. It is short and fat. It's like a fucking old cab over from the early 80s.
Oh man.
I'll use
great.
that one.
That was a good one.
I think that's a way to end on a high. right
That's
there.
it. Yeah, it's not drop the mic and go.
Drop the mic.
All right, well, thanks for having
Hey,
me.
thank you for
over.
being an
Thank
hour
you for
late.
doing
Fun.
it.
A lot
Yeah.
of
Thanks for
fun.
being an hour late, but
Hey, he can be an hour late to this as long as we're on time when he's driving.
no. Thank you
I
for
have
being
no.
work
here.
to do, man. What can I
Appreciate
say?
it.
And by the way, the bus is out front. So.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh,
you.
nice.
Bus already done, man. He walked in yesterday, said, I need some shit done. They did it.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a couple in. This is Cody Jinks, Bobby Keith Kilgore,
Thank you.
Josh Thompson,
Yeah.
and our good friend Nino. Thank you again, Nino. We'll have to do it again. We'll think of some more stories, and we'll make some more stories.
Let's make some and then we'll tell them about it.
We'll tell them about
All
it.
right.
We'll have you on every season. to see the new stories.
Yeah, every year you'll be a recurring guest.
So I'm allowed to tell the people about our own stories.
Well, sure.
Okay, we'll save that for next time.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll save it for next time.
You can dish out some dirt on us. Dirt on us next time.
Can't wait. Look forward to it.
Can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Couple in. Cody Jinks. Y'all have a good one.